In a world that never seems to stop, where the demands of life clamor for our attention at every moment, the concept of stillness has become a rare commodity. Yet, deep within us lies a reservoir of potential, waiting patiently to be unlocked. As we navigate through our chaotic lives, it's crucial to pause and reflect, to find that inner sanctuary where clarity emerges from the tumult. This journey toward harnessing our mind's full capabilities begins by understanding the power of calmness. The young man's gift. In a remote village, cradled by towering mountains, lived a young man renowned for his exceptional intellect. His ability to decipher complex puzzles and tackle the most challenging questions drew people from near and far. They came seeking not only answers but a glimpse into the extraordinary workings of his mind. Enveloped in an atmosphere of reverence, this young sage realized that wisdom extended far beyond knowledge. It resided within the soul. One tranquil day, a traveler from a distant land arrived in the village, his heart brimming with curiosity. He had heard whispers about the young man's brilliance and sought his guidance on a question that had haunted him for years. Upon their meeting, the traveler reverently addressed him, "O wise one, I have journeyed great distances, yearning to learn how to utilize my mind to its fullest potential." With a gentle smile, the young man beckoned the traveler to accompany him on a walk through the lush forest surrounding their village. The traveler's anticipation swelled as he envisioned a grand revelation, a revelation that would illuminate the path to mastering his thoughts. However, as they strolled through the verdant landscape, the young sage remained silent, leaving the traveler to grapple with his impatience. The serene pond, a reflection of the mind. After a prolonged silence, they arrived at a serene pond, its surface glistening under the sunlight like a mirror reflecting the sky. The young sage gestured towards the water and asked, "What do you see?" Curiosity piqued, the traveler leaned closer and peered into the crystal-clear depths. "I see fish swimming gracefully," he replied, "and my own reflection staring back at me." "Excellent," the sage acknowledged, his voice soothing like a gentle breeze. Then, with deliberate calm, he handed the traveler a small pebble. "Now take this pebble and cast it into the pond." As the traveler followed his instructions, the pebble broke the tranquil surface, causing ripples to expand outward. He observed the fish darting away in confusion and noticed how his own reflection shimmered and distorted amid the chaos. "What do you see now?" the sage prompted. With a hint of frustration, the traveler responded, "The water is disturbed, the fish have scattered, and my reflection is no longer clear." The young man nodded knowingly, his smile embodying the essence of wisdom. "You see, my friend, the mind is like this pond. When it remains calm and still, clarity reigns supreme, allowing for insight and understanding. But when you introduce disturbances, be it worries, desires, or impatience, the serenity evaporates and confusion takes its place." Cultivating inner stillness, the key to clarity. In this profound moment, the traveler began to grasp the depth of the young man's teaching. It dawned upon him that to access his mind's fullest potential, he must first cultivate a state of inner stillness and patience. Much like the pond, his thoughts could either flow freely or spiral into chaos, depending on external influences and internal reactions. The busy world outside often seduces us into a frenzy, convincing us that constant busyness equates to productivity. Yet, the art of stillness is a skill that can be nurtured. The traveler learned that embracing moments of silence and pause allows for deeper reflection and clearer thinking. It is in this quiet space that creativity flourishes, problem-solving becomes intuitive, and the answers we seek often emerge effortlessly. As they stood by the pond, enveloped in the beauty of nature, the traveler felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. He understood that the journey towards mastering his thoughts required more than mere intellect. It demanded a commitment to cultivating peace within. This understanding formed the foundation for his newfound appreciation of the power of a calm and focused mind. This enlightening experience marked a turning point not only for the traveler but also for the young sage. His reputation grew, not solely for his remarkable intelligence but for the gift of imparting wisdom on how to navigate the intricate pathways of the mind. He became a beacon of hope for those searching for clarity in a whirlwind of thoughts, showing them the transformative power of mindfulness. the ripple effect of wisdom. As the traveler eventually journeyed back to his homeland, he carried with him more than just answers to his burning questions. He held a newfound appreciation for the tranquil nature of the mind and the significance of inner stillness. With this knowledge, he began to practice stillness daily, discovering that he could access the depths of his own intelligence with greater ease. Just as the ripples spread across the pond, the wisdom passed on by the young sage influenced those the traveler encountered along his path. He shared the lesson of cultivating stillness, the importance of being mindful and aware in every moment. The power of the calm mind became a guiding light for many, offering them the keys to unlock their own potential. In the chaos of life, we often forget the importance of stepping back, of finding refuge within ourselves. We are driven by the demands of the world and the incessant chatter of our thoughts. Yet, the journey toward clarity and understanding is a deeply personal one that begins with a commitment to embracing stillness. Through regular practice, we can transform our minds into gardens of wisdom, enabling us to face challenges with a clear perspective. As the traveler realized, true mastery of the mind is not about suppressing thoughts or denying feelings but embracing the art of observation, observing our thoughts without judgment, allowing them to flow like the water in the pond. In this state, we become aware of the ripples we create, how even the smallest action can cascade into a larger impact on our lives and the lives of those around us. Today, let us embark on a journey to recognize the importance of stillness, to find peace within the mind amidst chaos. Together, we can learn to harness the power of our thoughts and use them wisely, making our reflections clearer and our visions brighter. As the traveler returned to his homeland, the profound encounter with the Zen master and the lesson learned by the serene pond began to cultivate a deeper understanding within him. This new perspective would not only impact him personally but also ripple through the lives of those he touched. Little did he know that this journey towards inner stillness would lead him into the heart of personal growth, shaping not only his capabilities but those of his community as well. The return, a heart full of wisdom. Upon arriving back to his town, the traveler felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. How would he share the insights gained from his time with the Zen master? His friends and family were all engrossed in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, burdened by their own worries and aspirations. He could almost hear their minds racing like rippling water, swollen with disturbances that clouded their judgments and emotions. One evening, as twilight descended, he gathered with his friends around a flickering fire. With the crackling flames providing a warm backdrop, he initiated a conversation that would change the course of their understanding of life. "I have returned from a journey," he began, "and I want to share something truly precious that I have learned." Curiosity piqued, the group leaned in, eager to hear tales from his adventures. "In a village high in the mountains, I met a Zen master. He taught me that the mind is like a pond," he explained. "When still, it reflects clarity and understanding, but when disturbed, it becomes cloudy and chaotic." The power of mental quietude. His friends listened intently as he recounted the lessons of the pond. "He handed me a pebble and showed me how throwing it disrupted the calm waters. I realized how our thoughts work in similar fashion. When we allow worries, impatience, and distractions to invade our minds, clarity vanishes and frustration sets in." There was a moment of silence as his friends absorbed the metaphor. "But how do we cultivate this stillness?" one of them asked, frustration laced in their voice. "Life is so busy, work, family, obligations. It's hard to find even a moment of peace." The traveler smiled, knowing that the wisdom imparted by the Zen master would shed light on this struggle. "It starts with intention. We must carve out time in our day for quiet reflection, even if only for a few minutes. Sit in silence, observe your thoughts like leaves floating on the surface of that pond. Acknowledge them without judgment and let them pass without clinging to them." He could see the flicker of understanding in their eyes. This act of mindfulness, of tuning into the present moment, brings us back to our center, he continued. It allows us to detach from the chaos and approach challenges with a clear head. Practicing mindfulness, a daily commitment. Over the following weeks, the traveler became not just a bearer of wisdom but a guide for his friends. Together, they began to implement small changes in their daily routines, seeking stillness amid the busyness of life. They gathered each morning, choosing a peaceful spot in nature to practice mindfulness and meditation. Some days by a flowing river, other days under the shade of an old oak tree. They began with simple breathing exercises, focusing on their inhales and exhales. With each breath, they sought to anchor themselves in the moment, resisting the urge to race ahead or dwell on the past. Holding space for these moments allowed them to quiet the clamor of their minds and invite a sense of serenity. As the days turned into weeks, the group noticed the transformation unfolding. They became more attuned to their thoughts and feelings and began to navigate life's obstacles with newfound resilience. Conflicts at work became opportunities for understanding, rather than sources of stress. Relationships flourished as they learned to listen deeply, cultivating a genuine connection with those around them. One evening, while gathered around the fire once again, one of the friends spoke up. "Remember when we first started practicing mindfulness? I used to feel so anxious about my workload. Now, I perceive challenges as stepping stones to growth rather than burdens." His friends nodded in agreement, each attesting to the changes within themselves. "It's truly remarkable how our minds have transformed," another chimed in. "What the Zen master taught you has created waves of positivity in our lives. It's a ripple effect that continues to flourish. The community awakens, unleashing collective potential." Word of their practice spread throughout the town, catching the attention of others who were seeking solace from their chaotic lives. New faces began showing up by the riverbank, eager to join in the morning mindfulness sessions. The once small gathering transformed into a community of individuals dedicated to supporting one another and nurturing their minds. As the community grew, so did their collective understanding of the power of stillness. They invited speakers, local elders, teachers, and even visiting healers, to share their wisdom on mindfulness, mental clarity, and emotional intelligence. The newfound appreciation for silence and reflection brought a sense of camaraderie, unity, and strength to the village. Various initiatives blossomed from their gatherings. Workshops on stress management, classes on meditation techniques, and storytelling sessions where individuals could share their journeys of growth and healing. They learned to weave the essence of stillness into every aspect of their lives, leading to a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment. Yet they also faced challenges. As the community flourished, they grappled with maintaining their peace when faced with external pressures. Can the pond remain undisturbed in the midst of a storm? This became a poignant question for them to explore together. Embracing disturbance, a new perspective ***. One day during one of their mindfulness sessions, a strong wind swept through the trees, causing branches to sway and rustle. A member of the group became distracted, expressing frustration with the noise. "How can we find peace when the world around us is so chaotic?" he lamented. The traveler paused, considering this challenge. "Ah, my friend, this is the heart of growth," he began. "The Zen master taught me that we cannot control the external world, but we can master our response to it. Even in disturbance, we can cultivate a deep sense of stillness." He encouraged them to breathe through the distractions, allowing the wind to teach them about resilience. Just as the pond can become calm again after the pebble disrupts it, so too can we regain our composure despite the chaos surrounding us. In that moment, they began to practice integrating awareness with acceptance. They listened to the sounds of nature and allowed themselves to acknowledge the disturbance without resisting it. With each deep breath, the community embraced the idea that tranquility could coexist with turmoil. "The calm within the storm," the traveler mused, "is where we find our true strength." Harvesting the fruits of stillness. As time passed, the village transformed irrevocably. The practice of mindfulness and stillness became interwoven into the fabric of their lives. They learned to approach issues with the calm of a still pond, even when life threw pebbles of stress their way. Children grew up embodying these principles, learning from an early age the importance of inner peace. The traveler's journey beyond the mountains had sparked a revolution within the village, a testament to the power of shared wisdom. The core message that began with a simple lesson by a serene pond evolved into a movement dedicated to nurturing the essence of stillness and awareness. Friends began visiting nearby villages, sharing their experiences and encouraging others to embrace the practice. They opened doors to exploration beyond their geographical confines, inviting others to join in meditation sessions or workshops in a spirit of connection and growth. The once quiet village now radiated with an energy that inspired travelers and seekers alike. Within the community, people found their voices, their passions shining bright as they collaborated on various projects that brought positive change to the worldwide view. They sought to make an impact, addressing sustainability, promoting kindness, and nurturing a collective consciousness centered on compassion and unity, a legacy of wisdom and peace. The traveler realized that his journey did not end with his return. It evolved into a legacy that reached far beyond his own experiences. As he looked around at the thriving community, he acknowledged the lessons learned from the Zen master, that wisdom is nourished in still waters but flourishes in action. The calmness they cultivated within allowed them to engage with the world around them in a meaningful way. They built not only a culture of mindfulness but also a network of support, where individuals could share their struggles while uplifting one another through compassion and understanding. One day, as the community celebrated their achievements, the traveler stood before them, filled with gratitude. The Zen master taught me that to unlock our true potential, we must embrace our inner stillness and grow through our experiences. Thank you for walking this path with me. Together, we have transformed obstacles into opportunities, sharing our gifts with the world and inspiring others to awaken to their own potential. The crowd erupted in applause, their voices echoing across the valley, a symphony of hope, resilience, and unity. Each member understood that their journey had only just begun and that the ripples of their collective action would continue to spread far and wide. Thus, the traveler's teachings passed on to generations to come, reminding everyone that a calm mind fuels clarity, creativity, and growth. And every time a traveler sought wisdom at the edge of the village, he would share this timeless lesson, that the tranquility within us holds the key to unlocking the vast potential within us all. As the days turned into weeks after his return from the tranquil village, the traveler realized that the lessons imparted by the Zen master were not just fleeting moments of clarity but life-altering teachings that held the key to personal and collective transformation. Armed with a renewed understanding of the mind's potential, he felt a deep obligation to share these insights with others, not only for their benefit but also for the emotional and spiritual growth of the entire community. The journey of sharing wisdom. The traveler gathered the townspeople again, this time in the heart of their bustling marketplace. He could see the weariness etched on their faces, families caught up in the daily grind, merchants preoccupied with transactions, and children distracted by the distractions of modern life. With a heartfelt invitation, he beckoned them to pause and consider the message he carried from the wise Zen master. "Friends," he began, his voice steady and inviting, "it has been some time since I returned, yet my heart remains unchanged in its purpose. I wish to share the wisdom I received so that we may all embrace the true potential of our minds. The Zen master taught me a fundamental truth, that to think clearly and harness our mental capabilities, we must first cultivate inner stillness." As he spoke, he could see the curiosity growing among his fellow townsfolk. Many had felt the weight of their responsibilities overshadow their silence, and a flicker of hope sparkled in their eyes as they listened to the promise of clarity, creating a sanctuary of calm. Inspired by the calming lessons he'd learned, the traveler proposed forming a dedicated space within their village, a sanctuary where individuals could come to learn about stillness, mindfulness, and intentional living. It would be a refuge where the turmoil of the world could take a back seat, allowing individuals to nurture their inner selves. In solidarity, the villagers rallied together, pooling resources to create a serene garden. They transformed an overgrown plot of land into a peaceful oasis, filled with vibrant flowers, towering trees, and tranquil pathways winding between cozy seating areas. As the garden flourished, it became a physical manifestation of their collective commitment to embracing peace of mind. Soon thereafter, they established weekly gatherings in the garden where the traveler would facilitate mindfulness workshops and lead meditative exercises. The sessions were designed to gently guide participants to reconnect with their breath, grounding themselves in the present moment, just as the Zen master had taught him, cultivating a practice of stillness. During these sessions, the traveler emphasized the importance of inner stillness as the starting point for clarity and decision-making. He would often remind them, just as the pond reflects the sky when undisturbed, our minds too can reflect the best solutions when we allow them time to settle. He introduced various techniques, from simple breath awareness to visualizations that harnessed the transformative power of nature. He shared stories of his experience at the pond, illustrating how each pebble cast responds to disturbances in the water. The attendees learned that their thoughts might leap and twist, just like the rippling water, impacted by outside influences like stress, negativity, and busyness. Yet, they also learned how those ripples could settle, returning to a glass-like calm that enabled clarity and insight. People began to share their breakthroughs, recounting how the practice of mindfulness allowed them to work through long-standing conflicts, make clearer decisions, and rekindle relationships once strained by misunderstanding or tension. One participant, a teacher, said, "I've noticed my patience has increased with my students. I can hear them now rather than just listening to them." As the weeks turned into months, these gatherings became a transformative haven for the community, where stories of personal growth were woven into the fabric of their interactions. They celebrated not only achievements but also setbacks, understanding that within every challenge lies an opportunity for deeper self-discovery and growth. Engaging with the community, a collective awakening. The growth of inner stillness began to radiate beyond the garden. As villagers became more attuned to their thoughts and emotions, they started interacting differently with their surroundings. Neighbors greeted each other with warmth, and merchants approached transactions with greater integrity and compassion. Recognizing this shift, the traveler inspired the villagers to extend their practice of mindfulness into their everyday activities. Each interaction is an opportunity to practice stillness, he encouraged. Whether in the marketplace or at home, we can cultivate awareness. This community thrives in connection, and mindfulness will nurture those connections. The community decided to take this commitment a step further by organizing mindfulness retreats that would allow them to explore the transformative power of stillness in deeper contexts. They found a nearby mountain suitable for weekend retreats, retreating to nature to engage in profound introspection and connection with one another and with their surroundings. Reflections amidst nature's serenity. The mountain retreat facilitated a space for quiet reflection and immersive experiences in nature, the very elements that evoked the wisdom of the Zen master. Participants were replaced by the serene beauty of towering trees, flowing streams, and expansive skies. Through silence and shared moments of connection, they began to experience the quietude the Zen master had spoken of. At dawn, they practiced meditation, focusing on the sounds of nature, the rustle of leaves, the call of birds, the whisper of the wind, integrating the beauty of the natural world into their consciousness. The traveler led discussions on various principles of mindfulness and integration practices that could be woven into daily routines. They engaged in practices surrounding gratitude and compassion, where participants shared stories of their struggles and triumphs. It became a space of both vulnerability and strength, an acknowledgement of their collective humanity, resilience in the face of challenges. Yet, amidst their journey towards calmness, the villagers encountered challenges put forth by life itself, reminding them that even the quietest mind faces turbulence. One summer, a severe drought affected the agricultural lands surrounding the village, and fears began to surface among the community about their sustainability. Faced with adversity, members started to worry, creating ripples of anxiety that disturbed the newfound peace they had cultivated. The traveler noticed this shift and called forth a gathering in the garden to address these concerns openly. "Dear friends," he began, "the drought is a challenge and it is natural to feel concern. However, like the pond, we must acknowledge these disturbances without allowing them to control us. We can still choose how to respond." People shared their fears, voice trembling yet sincere. The traveler encouraged them to explore ways in which they could support each other through this difficulty, whether by pooling resources, sharing knowledge, or lending each other their hands in times of worry. In the coming days, villagers collaborated to ensure they had enough water for their crops and established systems for collecting rainwater. Their collective action drew from the power of stillness, allowing them to think clearly, innovate together, and create solutions that supported the entire community's survival, leaving a legacy of mindfulness. As the drought eventually ended and life returned to the land, the traveler realized that their experiences had further solidified the principles of mindfulness and stillness in the village. They had learned not just to think in clarity but to act with intention in the face of adversity. With a heart brimming with gratitude, the traveler addressed the community once more. It has been miraculous to witness how this garden has grown, just as the stillness within us has blossomed. What began as a search for inner clarity has transformed into resilience for the community. His voice trembled with emotion as he continued, "We have forged our pathways of connection, embraced our collective challenges, and cultivated a spirit of compassion. The true legacy of the Zen master lives on through each of you." The villagers gathered to express their appreciation for the wisdom shared and experiences co-created. With their eyes shining with gratitude, they promised to uphold the values of mindfulness and continue nurturing the seeds of stillness within themselves and their community. The rippling effect of change. As time passed, the village became known far and wide as a beacon of peace, wisdom, and resilience. Visitors from distant lands trekked to experience the mindfulness practices the community had embraced. Workshops and retreats grew in popularity, allowing more individuals to learn how to cultivate their own stillness and realize their potential. The traveler, humbled by the journey he had undertaken and the impact of his experiences, became a source of knowledge and compassion for those yearning for purpose and clarity. The teachings of the Zen master had sparked a revolution, not only of thought but of action, community, and connection. As he continued to share the message with others, he often concluded with a reminder that resonated deeply in the hearts of his listeners. Clarity comes from stillness, and in stillness, we find the power of our minds. When we embrace our reflections, both the calm and the agitated, we can transform our lives and the world around us. In this way, the legacy of inner stillness, patience, and clarity lived on, a gentle reminder that within the depths of our hearts lies the true potential waiting to be discovered. As you conclude this journey alongside the traveler and the teachings of the Zen master, I encourage you to revisit the magic of stillness in your own life. Carve out moments in your day to pause, breathe, and reflect. Just as the traveler transformed his community, you too can create ripples of change in your world. Consider sharing this journey with others. Invite friends to explore the benefits of mindfulness together. Establish a space for collective growth, and cultivate patience, understanding, and compassion in your conversations. The world needs more places where stillness reigns and clarity flows. Let's be the change makers and guardians of peace in our communities. For those of you who found inspiration here, leave a comment below about how you plan to integrate stillness into your life. And don't forget to share this video with others who may benefit from these teachings. Together, let's foster an environment of support and wisdom. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey, and may you always find the calm within the storm.